So one of the most fascinating and hopeful aspects of humanity is really that we have, over the course of thousands of years, accumulated and built a gigantic library of insights regarding how to handle the problem of having a mind, how to handle challenges, and how to handle being a human in a broken world, you might say. In fact, most of philosophy is really an attempt at answering this question. If you look at like most of Eastern philosophy, but also within Western philosophy, especially traditions like Cynicism, the philosophy of Cynicism and of Stoicism are great examples of this. But also, I would even say, the branch of philosophy covering ethics. It's all about how to handle being a human, how to know what to do, and how to act with honor and grace and virtue, how to avoid sinking into despair, and how to avoid sinking into self-pity when you face adversity. And that is a great thing, because what we have accumulated over thousands of years is no small library. But the problem is that it's dispersed across time and traditions and cultures, and often it's made further abstruse by being hidden deep inside books among all kinds of other, perhaps less relevant points and things and ideas. But the problem is that it's all jumbled up across various traditions and cultures and languages and ways of thinking and inside books of abstruse language, and that can make it, even though it exists, you can imagine this kind of hyper object of this abstract library. If you just imagine all the important ideas on this subject that have been written down or are stored inside traditions. But how do we get at it when it's so dispersed and jumbled up? That's really the question. And that is what I am attempting to do with this YouTube channel. Because what could be more beautiful than a simple library of the most important insights regarding the challenges of being a human and having a mind. A place where anyone could go and easily find the insight that they're looking for, that they need, that they might not know they need, but the lack of which in their life or in their mind in this moment is what's tripping them up. Because it's never life tripping us up. It's our lack of insight. It's our inability to handle what happens to us in any given moment. And I can't help to find it fascinating that despite having accumulated such a library and being a tool-using species and all, most of us, when asked directly what is our toolbox for handling life, we don't have a clear answer. It's like we're kind of just winging it. And if you look at the state of the world, and if you look at the state of humanity and mental health crisis and the polarization, and like, it doesn't look like winging it is really doing it for us, right? We need to be more rational about this. And the first thing we need is therefore to know where to go to make ourselves wiser. And it has to be easy, because we're living in a time in which we don't have the energy and the time to read long books, to gather whatever point it is we're looking for, whatever insight it is we're looking for. So we need to make them available to ourselves, and that's what I want to do. In fact, I would argue that providing ourselves with such a toolbox of the most important, essential, and central insights concerning the question or the problem of having a mind is one of the most important and beautiful projects a species could have. In fact, when you look at the state of the world and the state of humanity, I would almost say it's the only thing of importance at this point in history. So this is basically an attempt at putting at our disposal the map of wisdom that we need to direct ourselves and find our way towards awakening, towards breaking frame, gestalt shifting. And doing so by distilling the essential wisdoms and insights across traditions and history and time, and arrange them into something like a utility belt for anyone interested to use. For how else can we bring about a radical transformation of the world and ourselves through the stories we tell ourselves and the actions that arise therefrom? And an interesting byproduct I've found from arranging such a library is that it becomes more than just a series of insights, because once you start to order them, a structure emerges. And this structure is really a map of the mental space. And such a map has the power to show us how to navigate the treacherous backwaters of the mind. But one challenge facing any teacher or conveyor of insights is that merely knowing is never enough. In order to truly learn something, you have to go beyond merely holding some fact or insight in your mind. And therefore, I will convey these insights through exercises that I will take or that I will perform alongside you live in the given video. So what I'm trying to do with this YouTube channel is really building that library, taking the journey in order to see where it takes me. And you are, of course, invited.